there, and welcome. So we're going to be unpacking a phrase that I'm sure you've heard a million times. A child is a gift of love. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? But underneath, it's actually loaded with all sorts of complex meanings, and honestly, a lot of intense emotion.
So what are we really trying to say when we use those words? Is it just a fact? A nice, beautiful sentiment? Or, is it maybe just a polite way of talking about something else? Let's dive in and really explore that.
Believe it or not, this one little phrase sits right at the heart of a huge cultural and even political battleground. It really represents two sides of the same coin, two viewpoints that are just completely at odds with each other.
So on one hand, you have the idea that a child is this incredible blessing, a cherished gift. But then, on the other hand, especially if a pregnancy wasn't planned, that same child might be seen as, well, an unwanted burden. And this conflict, this exact tension, is what fuels some of our most heated debates, like pro-life versus pro-choice, and a whole bunch of other really profound questions about what it means to raise a child.
Okay, but here's a thought. What if both sides of that argument are kind of missing the point? What if we've all misunderstood what the gift in that phrase actually is? The source material we're looking at today suggests a whole other way of looking at this, a third perspective that's much more spiritual in nature.
So to really get this new perspective, we have to first wrap our heads around a core spiritual idea from the source material. You can almost think of it like this. Spiritual engine, right? It's constantly running in the background of our lives, powering our personal growth.
And this slide here lays out how it works just perfectly. It's a really simple but super powerful cycle. Step 1, we make choices. Our words, our thoughts, our actions, they all come from our freedom to choose. Step 2, we experience the results of those choices. Every choice has a consequence, right? And step 3, we grow. It's by consciously going through those results that we learn, we mature, and we develop spiritually.
So, what's the whole point of this engine? Well, from this viewpoint, nothing that happens to us is just random. Every single experience, whether we think it's good or bad, is there for one reason: to help us develop our inner selves, our spiritual essence.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, how does this whole spiritual engine thing connect back to a child as a gift of love? Well, it all comes down to completely redefining what we mean by expression of love. I mean, let's be real for a second. In day-to-day conversation, when we say a child is the result of an expression of love, what are we usually talking about? It's basically society's polite little euphemism for the natural urge for sexual intercourse, right?
But here's where the source material gives us a massive reframe. The true spiritual meaning of expression of love isn't the biological act at all. It's the opportunity, this huge, challenging, life-changing opportunity to develop and practice selfless love for another being.
And that right there is the key. The gift isn't the child itself, like some object we get. No, the gift is the opportunity that the child offers to the parent or caregiver. It's the chance to grow, to practice real love, to become selfless.
So that sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work in the real world? How does giving to a child actually become a gift that the parent or caregiver receives?
Well, just think about what it takes to be a parent or a caregiver. It's a huge path for growth. You have to provide for their basic needs and safety. You have to offer emotional support and love. You're guiding their moral development, making sure they get an education. You have to be a role model. Every single one of those things requires you to put someone else's needs before your own. It's all about selflessness.
And here's the beautiful paradox of it all. Only in giving does one receive. To teach a child patience, you have to become more patient yourself. To give them unconditional love, you have to dig deep and find it within you. See how that works? The very act of giving to them becomes the engine for your own spiritual growth.
And what's really cool is that this idea of love goes way beyond just DNA. This principle isn't just for biological parents. It applies much, much more broadly.
That opportunity, that gift for growth, it doesn't care one bit about genetics. It's there for an adoptive parent, a foster parent, a grandparent, a teacher, really any caregiver who's dedicated to nurturing a child. The real gift is in the act of selfless love. It's got nothing to do with DNA.
This leads to a pretty challenging question that the source material raises. It asks us to think about this. If the goal is to develop selfless love, then why is there often such a strong desire to pass on one's own DNA? Is it possible that this focus on genetics is actually a promotion of the self? A wish to receive something, like a biological legacy, before we're truly ready to just give? It's a really deep question about what our true motivations are.
And according to the source, when we as a society kind of miss this point, when we're ignorant of this incredible spiritual gift, there are real-world consequences. It can lead to lower moral standards and a lot of the widespread emotional problems we see, simply because this fundamental opportunity for growth and selfless development is being completely overlooked.
So that kind of leaves us with this one big final thought to chew on. What if the greatest gifts in life aren't the things we receive at all? What if the real gifts are the opportunities we're given to give, the chances we get to serve, to grow, and to practice a kind of love that asks for absolutely nothing in return? Something to think about.